Finally found us some. We just parked the truck. We got out, and there's some turkey tracks, and that does look like a gobbler. Gobbler, you can tell the middle toe is usually longer. Maybe a Jake.
What's a Jake?
Jake is a young turkey, a gobbler. First year bird. We're coming out here. We are hopefully going to get on a bird. So we shall see.
Oh, here's the
Yep.
Why do they walk in a straight line?
That's just how they walk. Hopefully where we're walking here, nobody's parked back in here, but we parked at the gate. Welcome to Look and See Outdoors. Today, Finley and I are turkey hunting, or we're going to attempt to turkey hunt. We're in Barbour County at the management area, the wildlife management area. We got our turkey gun. Today I'm carrying my Remington 8 with the Winchester turkey haunchers, number 5s, 3-inch Magnum. We're hopefully gonna get on a bird. This is an area I'm not real familiar with. It had been cut, I think it's been about 3 years now since it was last cut. I wanted to come over. I like during turkey season, also kind of scout for deer season. Of course, deer season for this year is over. Hadn't had many opportunities to come this past season. This is the first time since turkey season has opened that we've been able to get down here. Finn's got his trusty Red Ryder BB gun. We're gonna see what we can get into today.
See that big hill back there?
Which one?
That one?
Way over, yeah.
How far do you think that is?
That's 4 or 5 miles to that hilltop, if not further. All right, guys, we have climbed a big old hill. This is the first time I've been in this area of the management area. There's so much land down here. It's 30,000 acres of public land. This just goes on and on. Over in this area, the boys and I squirrel hunted. Been about 3 years ago, hadn't it, Finley?
Yeah.
And I made a video of us doing that. And we talked about some tracks, some footprints we found. And the interesting thing about it, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday about those tracks, because he had let me listen to part of this podcast. I think it's Sasquatch Chronicles. And in 2022, there was a couple from Montgomery, Alabama, came to turkey hunt, and they were camping at the campground over by the headquarters. And that one night that they had set up camp and were in there, they had a fire going. They were just sitting around enjoying their evening. The lady got out a turkey call and was messing with it. She said they got to hearing, after about 45 minutes or so, they got to hearing some noise, and this thing came up. It was 2 of them, and they were on all 4s. And at first they didn't know what it was, but then they said these 2 creatures stood up and were bipedal. And they said they were Bigfoot creatures. And that the man started quoting, I don't know if it was Psalms 23, it was some scripture. And they got real scared. So they were quoting scripture, and they said the creatures just started moving off. But that happened in the turkey season, which would have had to been in April of 2022, the same year we were down here, which would have been January 2022, the end part of it, when we came down here squirrel hunting. And we saw those little tracks. And that area is on the other side here. I think that's called Powell Road. And then there's Dixon Road, which is way, I don't know if I'm pointing correctly at that, where those pines and that little ridge sticking up there. So there's some interesting things down here about Bigfoot. we're not down here solely to look for Bigfoot, but we're always thinking about it. And we've seen quite a few tracks like bobcat, seen some coyote and some coon tracks and those turkey tracks. So as we're walking back here, I'm thinking, man, we probably should have drove, but you know, when you turkey hunt, you don't want to drive into an area that could be a good site to set up, a good area to set up and get on some turkeys. All right, I don't know how this is going to be picking up. This is an interesting, we've come up on a swarm of honeybees. I think those are yeah, they are honeybees, aren't they? They look like honeybees and they sound like honeybees, but I can't get a good idea of them. Yeah, those are honeybees. I see that one landed. But they're all up and down.
They're on both sides.
Both sides of the ditch. There's thousands of them here. I don't know, Finley, if these are honeybees. I can't really get a good... These may be what they call digger bees. D-I-G-G-E-R. Yeah, they don't look like... They look like honeybees, but then when you can actually start...
These ones look like, kind of like dirt daughters.
Yeah, these are not honeybees. I'm not sure what type. They won't stop so you can get a good look at them. But they're swarming all up and down this road right here on both sides of this road. Yeah, I see them going out of these little holes. As far as I know, honeybees don't go in the ground.
There might be dirt daughters.
Well, there is a bee called a digger. D-I-G-G-E-R. Digger bee. And that may be what these things are. They're not yellow jackets.
See where we'd be cooked.
That's interesting. Yeah, it wouldn't be fun to be in the middle of all that. All right, we're coming off that hill. We found us something that sticking out, looks like some kind of a sign. We're gonna walk over to it. We've probably walked about right at a mile now in here. And there's no good place right here to set up for turkeys. Unless I left my binoculars at the truck and all that good stuff. But we're gonna ease on coming down in this bottom and go over that hill, and there's something over there that we're gonna check out. All right, we got us a songbird. That's this tree right here. He's up almost in the top of it. I don't know if we can hear him. Be quiet for a second. That's his sound right there. It's a scarlet tanager. Real beautiful bird. Almost kind of looks like a cardinal, but they don't have that crest and that black. I hear that sound and it reminds me, because it was the first time I'd ever seen one, was on the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina. And every time I hear it, that's the male singing. I hope that's picking up. I don't have a great microphone on this camera. But it's cool to see those birds. But it makes me think of the Appalachian Trail. All right, we found some what appears to be coyote scat, and it's right here in the middle of this part of the road. And we've seen some coyote tracks. What was that? Oh, that's that bird. And there's turkey tracks here. And then over here,
We got some deer tracks.
yep, some deer tracks.
Looks like two of them because it's two.
Yeah, stepped in the hind feet stepping in the front. A lot of tracks over here. A lot of animals been moving through. This tree looks like that looks like a buckeye. Huh. This may be the leaflet. Huh, that's interesting. I don't know why my camera is moving so slow here. That's weird. All right. I think that's a buckeye. They grow around here, buckeye trees. This is a huge cutover. This is probably a couple or 2 or 3 acres. Now, I bet this is about 1,000 acres of cutover right here. I'm going up on another hill. Let's look back. That, oh man, this camera, right in that ridge there is where we came down from. Yep. A little morning glory. All right, cool. We're moving on along. All right, well, we have made it to our objective. This is a road sign. And it's walking only. Our plan is to go in here on this little section and get over closer to the wood line of the perimeter of this huge, vastly huge clear cut. It seems like it's been about 3 years ago they came in here and they just cut it to, it looked like this everywhere. And they've replanted it. It looks like it's a mixture of the slash or loblolly plus the longleaf pine. Pinus palustris. So we're going to sit here and enjoy a little bit of water and some peanut butter crackers. You're not eating my crackers, are you? Those look like my crackers. And down here, we've got about right at an hour and a half that we can hunt. We got down here late, which is fine, but I just wanted to get out and man, look at this beautiful bluebird sky. It's beautiful, ain't it, Finley? Mm-hmm. Just wanted to get out today. This is fun just being down here. Chances are we're not going to hear a turkey gobble. I haven't heard a turkey gobble down here in I don't know how many years. I used to come down here and get on turkeys and they gobbled and it was fun. But things have changed down here. I know people come down here and kill turkeys. I don't get the opportunity to come down here as much and learn where the birds are. I know they're in here because I see tracks. But getting out in the middle of something like this and just setting up, unless you see birds, it's going to be a difficult task. I like the fringes, the edges. So we're going to enjoy this snack and then we're going to ease on over down this little road here. Walk-in area only. All right, well, we made it way over here to where we wanted to go. And all of a sudden it just stops. And it drops way down and it's thick. And from what I can tell, there's that other side that, I think that Powell Road side where that's a cutover.
There's a horse fly.
We stand here throughout a couple of calls. Thought we heard a gobble, but it wound up being a woodpecker. So we don't really know what to do. This is kind of the way it goes when you're in a new area. And because unfortunately this is me scouting also. So I think we're going to ease back and try to find us I thought there would be a fire break cut down in there. I don't see one. Because that would have been, that crow, let's see if turkey would gobble. Man, I'm telling you, just don't hear them gobbling like they used to down here. We used to come in here, turkey hunt, and even if we didn't get one, we would hear them. So, a lot has changed. A lot of people come down here now and mess with these birds and they get call shy. They may have been gobbling this morning, but wasn't able to get down here first thing, so. Well, we're gonna see what we can do. The road we leave behind. Where's that hill at? Right there. I think it's right there. It's so funny, try to point at something. This hill's not as tall, but I'm gonna do a panoramic view. It is This is a huge, huge clear cut. And I'm seeing, well, with those machines, it don't take them long. So here goes another road towards the tree line. And we got about an hour, I don't know, walk over there and there's nothing. That's a long walk. I was telling Finley earlier, I said, if we get to come back next Friday, we're out of school. We're not gonna worry about coming back to this spot. There's a lot of walking. And I wanted to get over to the fringe of the tree line and set up. Well, I'm gonna ask him what he wants to do. Finley, you wanna let's try this little section real quick while we're here, or go on? Well, I kind of want to try it. We're gonna see, we'll figure this out. Well, we decided to come on over here since we're here and see if this will be a good spot to set up. Yeah, they're going to be blackberries. All in here where you see these blooms. These will be blackberries. Probably late May, June. I hear those bees in here. So we're going to get over here. A lot of turkey tracks out in this cutover. So they get out here. Turkeys like to get in places where they can see and be seen, especially them gobblers when they're strutting, but I have not seen any sign of a strut zone. And normally, I have seen them over here. A couple seasons back, came over here and made a video. I think that when I was on the edge of that clear cut, I heard a gobbler. I remember I set up, but nothing transpired with that. Sometimes your mind just messes with you. So if we can get over here along this edge of this tree line, or just find us a shady spot and set up and start calling. You never know. If a bird's nearby, walk up this road and you sit upright, you'll have a chance of getting a lot of coon tracks on this road. Man, look at all these coon tracks. Look at them, Finley. That's 2 or 3 for sure, right there. At least 2. We're gonna go over here. If nothing happens, we're gonna make our way back to the truck. And we're gonna go check out that area where, I think I know where that campsite area is that those folks supposedly had that Bigfoot encounter. So we're gonna go check that out after we get done here. Finley and I have found us a cool spot here. Clear cut's behind us. And it's a pretty creek bottom. As we got down here, I thought it was coming up on a creek, and sure enough, look where them hogs been down there in that sand, Finley. See it? The markings down there? We have not started calling yet. I'm gonna get one of my peg and slates out. And I got a new diaphragm call that I picked up this spring from Cluck Calls. It sounds pretty good. Now, let me find something here. Okay, we're back. Throw a couple of calls out. I ain't even set up. This is normally how I like doing it. I'm not ready, and you hear a bird. There could be one right down here. Who knows? Let's see. I have in the past. Throw out some yelps and they just hammer right back at you. The woes of public land. They're here. They're here. I love to get out in the woods. I love to hunt. But hunting public land is a big challenge for me. I know people come down here and they like getting down here too. You know, private land is better to me. Have a little more control on what's going on, and because I've heard people down here. I ran into these guys one morning. They had like a funnel, and they were using a turkey call. Man, they were just blasting the turkey calls, and nothing was. Man, they were just going around, getting out. I was set up, and I heard them. It was like a megaphone. They were somewhere out of state. But if you come down and you get these birds to gobbling pre-season, you'll kind of train them, and they'll get the hush mouth. Finley's working on that, learning to work the peg and slate. And then birds, it's hard to find them when you don't hear them or see them. Well, we've been seeing there was tracks on this little road we came in off that's up here behind us. And the name of this creek here is Leak Creek, L-E-A-K, Leak. I pulled out the map and saw it on there. I think how I showed you got to do it. Maybe he'll be a champion turkey caller one day. What you think? There you go. I'm not the greatest turkey caller. They may be laughing at me. That ain't no turkey. Where you at? Son. This week on ridiculousness. Look at this hog wallering, rooting. These hogs are everywhere. Man, this looks like turkey, prime turkey area right here. I stand corrected. We may come here next Friday and park up there early. We're talking about coming camping. That way we're down here and just drive over here and get out and walk down this no-walk part and hunt this bottom. Look at this. Aquaman over here playing in the creek. It's nice down here in this creek bottom. It's a lot cooler. Finley is enjoying playing in the creek. I think we're about to call it a day as far as turkey hunting goes. You have to stop turkey hunting at 1 p.m. Central. So that's 2 hour time. Technically we have about 20 more minutes. But it's just kind of hard for me. As many times I've been down here lately. Well, not lately, but past times, and not hear a bird. To kind of just sit there. Keep hoping the bird's going to answer. I just enjoy being in these woods like this. I'm going to watch our feet because the snakes are out. We were talking about that. Let's walk over here and look at this beautiful, big old beautiful, not an ash, but a beech nut tree. These trees remind me of the stories of Robin Hood and King Arthur, just like in an old English setting of a forest. Look how beautiful this tree is right here. And that's actually a small one. Beech trees produce a beech nut. They don't produce them every year, but when they do produce them, that is just a grocery store for every kind of animal that is in the woods. Deer, small game, turkeys, they just eat them up. I am not quite sure why Finley let us walk all the way down this hill. I thought it was at the top. We walked out of that creek bottom. We're learning the place. But now we got to go the hill again. We're going to come down here one day and get us a turkey. We just got to get the right place. We got to get the right place and the right noises going. Location, setup. That is key to being successful turkey hunting. Turkey hunter. All right, Finley and I are walking out of here and we come up on this. Is this where some kind of a bird got something? Because we don't see any tracks leading to this, except we got this going on right here. This might be, it's a turkey. It was a turkey, did a dust bath. Okay, I see the turkey tracks right here. Doink, doink. Yep, and they go off. All right, so there's turkeys all out in this clear cut. I wonder if that bird landed here. Maybe was roosting over there. Nope, I see tracks over here too now. You just kind of have to slow down and look at stuff. But that's where a turkey did some dusting. They do that like chickens help with parasites and whatnot. I thought this road was going to take us to the other side of that big hill that we came up from the truck, but it's bringing us, we walked that way and we've made a big loop. Oh, let me give it my pointer finger. I'm getting, and we came down and we're right here right now. So we put some steps down today. All right, Finley and I have been man, my voice. Finley and I have been discussing some stuff about artifacts. And I know that there are a lot of artifacts on the surface down here. However, in the state of Alabama, it is against the law on public lands to pick up artifacts. All right, Finley, we are going to go around this hill. So we're fixing to make a loop. We're not going to have to cross this hill. I don't know if y'all can see it, but that's down there. We came off the hill on that road. So anyway, back to the subject. In the state of Alabama, it is against the law to pick up arrowheads off the ground. We have not seen any arrowheads today. However, we did see evidence that arrowheads would be in a certain area where we were. And I find it interesting, some of the laws that are made, that I completely understand to not being allowed to come in here and do a dig. I get that. You know, you may find a burial site. Man, this place has been, I don't know, has it been completely deforested over the years? But those machines are not going to do any good for burial sites or whatnot. Known burial sites. I don't know of any in this immediate area. I get that. You know, I'm not for going in and disturbing a graveyard. No matter how old it is. But you know, just it strikes me as that it's just kind of stupid that if I'm walking along and I see an arrowhead, I'm just supposed to look at it, maybe take a picture of it and leave it. Why is that deemed a law to not pick it up? I don't get it. I'd have a hard time leaving it there, but I wouldn't say anything. I guess it'd be just a smart thing. Because it's funny. You know, I've seen people make videos and they do things and they wind up getting in trouble because of things they do on these videos. The right or wrong person sees it and they say, you know, they're in trouble with the law. So many laws that we don't even know. I mean, how many of you guys that live in the state of Alabama knew that it's against the law to pick up arrowheads on public land? Interesting thought there. As we're walking out back to the truck, I had a lot of time to think. And I was just thinking how fun it would be to come down here with mountain bikes and just ride these roads. These roads are in good shape. And if I'm understanding it correctly, where we're walking now, we could drive in here with a vehicle. I know I see tracks and there's four-wheel tracks. But it would be a lot of fun. Get back to what I was thinking about. Park up here where we are, have the bikes loaded, get off and just tool around on bikes. Because these roads, excuse me, for the most part, they keep rocks on them to keep them semi-improved, I guess. We're walking around that hill. There's that hill. We're going to be back to the truck here in just a few minutes. I do know this. I think after turkey season goes out, you have a certain amount of time. If you got anything set up at the campground, you have to have it pulled out. And then all the roads are closed until sometime right at the beginning of September. And it's kind of sad to think about that, because it would be fun to come down and park at the campground and get on a bicycle and just ride these roads. But I was told one time that you can't even do that. So public land, these WMAs are very limited to public use. I know in past videos you've heard me talk about how when deer season comes in, you can bow hunt every day from October whatever to February 10th, somewhere in there. I think it's October 15th. But you can only gun hunt, even when gun season is open in the state of Alabama, you can only certain days that you can hunt down here. And the zone is open and closed, Zone A and Zone B. So, a lot of resources here to do recreation, but it's just very limited.
Okay, tell me when to...
All right, so Finley and I made it back to the truck, and we've learned that you can drive at most of that section. That loop, you can drive. So we're going to see how far that loop was. I'm guessing 2 miles. Finley's guess 3 1/4.
Yeah.
We got in here earlier this morning. It is around 10 o'clock. No, it might have been 11. I can't remember. And it is now 2:35. So we've been in here 2-3 hours. Come on now. All right. He buying a sausage. Good. So we're gonna see how this loop is as far as the distance. Okay. I want to take this camera sometimes and just run over. All right, we're on the second big hill, and we've been how much? 5 minutes driving?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
And we're right at a mile. We just got right there as I'm looking at it, that was a mile. We were just shy of a mile at that walk-in sign. So this loop may be 2 miles now. We're coming up. I'm gonna make it. All right, we're on the second big hill. Other hill's over there to Finley's right, my right. And this is where we walked in and sat up. That tree line down in there is the creek, Leak Creek. So we're gonna go down here. I'm not gonna drive down through that. I'm gonna go down here and get on where the road is, okay? Don't want to put us in a precarious situation unnecessarily. All right, we'll be back. They wouldn't be cool around one of these corners. Bigfoot standing. Is that a Bigfoot in the road? Golly. That was a Bigfoot. All right, how we doing on time?
We're at 10:30.
All right, what's the time? 10 what?
11:30.
11 minutes, 30 seconds drive time. We're at 2 miles right there. And we're almost back to where the loop split. So, what was your guess on the time?
My guess was 7.
So, that big loop coming back, we're here at the split. It's 2.1 miles. That's that big hill.
And it took, let's just say 11 minutes. Let's just say 11 minutes.
Okay, a little longer, but the truck was parked up here. So we actually walked further than the 2.1. I'm gonna say we probably did 2.5 miles as far as walking the main, and then we went off the sections. So it could have been closer to 3 going in those walking area only. So anyway, we're about to head over towards the headquarters area where the campground is, and we're going to see that area where on the Sasquatch Chronicles, isn't that what Chris said? Is the name of the podcast? Where they were talking about 3 years ago, a couple had a Bigfoot encounter. Or it was more than one Bigfoot, so I guess it was Big Feet encounter. All right, so stand by. All right, I believe this is staghorn sumac right here. It's got some blooms on it, but it eventually makes berries. And the berries are edible, and you can make a drink from it that's similar to Gatorade. But I believe that's what that's called, staghorn sumac. All right, so Finley and I, we made it over here to the camp area. In this particular part of the camp where you camp here, it's the primitive of the primitive part, meaning you're not allowed to use any generators. And according to that podcast, in the description of where those people were camping, this would be that area. Because at one time that was more the gravel. They talk about a gravel road, and it stops. That's kind of a top of an asphalt right there, but it stops and it becomes dirt road, Forest Service type. But this, in 2022, I believe it's where these people were camped. And this is where I like camping. It's more secluded. And I've had my pop-up camper down here, and we've come down here and camped in tents too. And we may do that Thursday night coming up. Hopefully we'll be able to do that, get down here before dark, get camp set up and have food and just have us a good time, get us a fire going and get up, and we'll be down here. Don't have that hour or so drive to make. We'll already be here and go turkey hunting on that Friday morning, which will be Good Friday. But this is that area, and I'm gonna walk on up here. There are people, you're allowed to bring and set up camp through the hunting season, but I mentioned earlier, I believe in this video, that once turkey season closes out, you have a certain date and you have to move all that stuff out for the summertime. Got world's your restroom here, son. Just found a penny. Oh, look, a penny, 1976. It's so peaceful down here. Really don't hear much sound other than the wildlife, the birds. The birds chirping. It's funny, when deer season's in, this place gets pretty crowded, especially when they open up Zone A and B at the same time. There'll be 300 or 400 people down here. Grand Central Station. But these people have these places set up, and it looks like somebody has been in here recently, according to these tracks. But where I like setting up is over here in this area. So we're going to check it out. If Bigfoot exists, it would be interesting to have an experience of an encounter, I guess is a better word. I believe they've extended this campground because it seems like it just came this far where the truck is, but I see tents way on back in there. But we're going to be in this area when we come camp. That'll be fun. We're going to come camp, right, Finley? We're going to do our best to make it.
Yeah.
Well, have you had fun today, buddy?
Yeah.
Always got to do this scale of 1 to 10. 1 being 10 being fantastic. How was it today?
9.5.
9.5. All right. Almost was fantastic. If we'd have got on a turkey, it would have been what?
11.
Ooh, 11. I like when I hear 11 and 12 because that's getting up into fantabulous beyond, right? All right. Well, we're heading back to the truck. We're going to just make our way on back to the house. It's done gotten later on, man. It's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. Well, it's 2:44 Central Time, and where we live, it's Eastern Time. We're in that part of Alabama. That's that little section that we go by Eastern. Everybody else goes by Central Time. The slow time. Interesting camper. It's peaceful. I'd like to be set up right now camping, especially in this shade. Have my hammock, man. Wouldn't you like to be in a hammock right now?
Yeah.
Taking a late afternoon nap. All right, well, let's see what we can get into before we get going. All right, earlier this morning when Finley and I were driving down, we were talking about that Bigfoot encounter. And I know, man, it's been some years ago. I come down here to turkey hunt, and there was a sign. It's no longer there. They've removed it, but there was a sign. If I can find that picture, I'm going to share it in this video. There's 2 pictures I want to share. One is of those footprints that I found. The boys and I were squirrel hunting back in 2022. Now those things were only about 6 inches, 6 or 7 inches long, but they were about 3 or 4 inches wide, and they had 5 toes, a little heel, and kind of a ball area. We found it going across the swamp in some sandy area, and you could see multiple tracks where something walked through there. But we were discussing, I think this where we are right now, we're pretty close to the area where that couple, I know it was a man and a wife, and it might have been someone else was with them, but they had an experience. And how they talk about the road being close to the road's right there. So either those things come out of these woods here, which you go through here, you're in another part of the camp area. But now you go into this area, it just gets deep woods for miles and miles. And of course there's Forest Service roads you cross. But you know, we were talking about it, and I thought, man, what if it was because they said when those things came in that it was on all 4s. And she had a turkey call that she was messing with at night. So what if it was maybe 2 bears that were just coming to that sound, and then when they realized people started, you know, hollering at them and talking to them, they stood up and, you know, moved out. Because bears will get on their hind feet and posture, you know, try and intimidate you. So who knows? I wasn't there, but it's an interesting story nonetheless. All right, well, Finley and I, we've gotten back in the truck. We're We're on the main road out of here. We're still in the management area. I think this is County Road 49. Is that what it is? Yep. It goes right down through the heart of the Barbour County management area. It takes you down to Clayton, Alabama. Maybe make us a little trip down there sometime. Maybe next week we'll come down, we'll go down there and get us a Subway. A Subway sandwich. Hope stuff ain't blowing out the window. Alright, we're heading up to the house. Oh, so anyway, we've made it back to the house. And I'm planning, I got a little time this evening. Use this for a little garden area, my container gardens. So I'm gotta do some measurement, and I've got some boards I need to cut because those have just over the years rotted. They're falling apart and everything's spilling over. And I got new buckets, so I'm gonna drill holes in them and get that going. Man, we made a day of it down there at the management area, and then we went over to Eufaula, did a little riding up through there. Got us some Burger King. I had one of them steakhouse Whoppers. That thing was pretty good. Had bacon on it and A1 sauce. So, whew. I'm tired, man. Getting out walking, looking for them birds. It's good. I mean, I ain't got to do that in a while, so that was fun to get out and do it and have Finley with me. And maybe we get a chance on and later in the week, get back down there and camp out. We'll see how that goes. Maybe make a video there. But right now, I'm fixing to get on this and see what I can get done right. You know, let's go look at it real quick. Okay. So this is what I've got. And these buckets are dry rotted. And these old plant containers, I've got some buckets that were given to me. They're new buckets. Pickles came in them. I'm gonna clean these out and got me some new potting soil. I love me some black cow. Here's my plants. Got some spearmint, some tomatoes, eggplant, some chamomile, some pepper, and man, I always forget what these are called. Marigolds. I love the way a marigold smells. The black cow. It's good stuff. Good stuff right here. And there's some of my buckets. Man, it's messy out here. Where are my other buckets at? Alright, so let's see what we can get done here. I got to get a measurement on those boards. Alright, so this is what's left. Definitely got to replace that wood. I've got some 2x6s. These are probably still they're in good shape, but I'm gonna replace them because they're getting rotten. That top, that was a 2x8, I believe. 2x12. It has seen its better days. Amazing how that treated lumber over time just will rot away too. Here's old plant tags. Had a mammoth jalapeno. Some of them lunchbox oranges. Some Santa Fe Grandes. Guerrero hot peppers. Sweet snacking pepper, a lunchbox red, and some of them Romanas. So, time to measure these boards and get the new ones put up. I'm gonna have to bring the video to an end. This is how far I've gotten. Not far at all. Well, I got farther than what it was. I was mistaken on what I thought. I thought this was only 4 feet wide, but I needed 57 inches. So my 2x4s, I thought I'd be able to cut them in half and then have 4 pieces. So I'm gonna have to get either reuse these old pieces. I could still do that and probably get another maybe season out of them, but I don't. I'm gonna get another board, 2 more boards of the 2x6s, and then I'll have that top part. while we were doing this, my son got us on the adventure of making a worm bed. So that's going to be in the process too. I got to pick up some material for that. We got a big container and we're going to put worms in it and have a little worm farm. All right, guys, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Man, we did a lot of stuff today. Turkey hunting, talking about Bigfoot, looking at all the tracks, and just had a beautiful day to be out and about. And then come back home, and here we are looking at getting this little bench. I call this my bench garden because these are kind of like little benches, and then the containers, the buckets sit on it. So my plants, got a peach tree and a new blueberry bush to get put out. Silas wanted us to get a new peach tree, so I got one. Look, he's got peach. I think I'm gonna just let it stay in the container and let them peaches grow. I need to put some water on them. And here's the plants we're gonna put in the containers. All right, everybody, I appreciate y'all's support on this channel. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, please. Leave a comment. And if you're not a subscriber, hopefully you'll subscribe and follow along. All right, guys, till next time, I'll see you later. Y'all take care.